You're watching at France 24. Welcome to the business interview. I'm Markus Karlsson. Christian Dior, Chanel and Givenchy, they all strutted their stuff at Paris Fashion Week recently. But there seem to be part of a shrinking crowd of fashion brands that make haute couture collections. Haute couture is seen as the heart and soul of French fashion, but some people say that it's going out of style. And to help us explore that, I'm joined now here in the studio by Floriane de Saint-Pierre. She's the founder and head of a company that bears her name, and it specializes in finding and recruiting executives for luxury fashion brands as well as luxury goods firms. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, you've got the pulse on French fashion. I suppose it's fair to say that. What do you make of the people who say that haute couture is going out of style?
It's a very interesting point of view, but I don't think that I agree, because if you look in terms of number, today we have 18 members of the Chambre syndicale, and in 1967 we have 17. So basically it is the same number. Probably they have changed, and so we have historical brands and houses such as Chanel, Givenchy and Dior, but also we have designers who have become institutions through having a haute couture line, like Jean-Paul Gaultier. And also we have newcomers like the Maurizio Galante, or the Christophe Josse, or the Boucherat Jarrat, who are really emerging talents and who are becoming really very visible through the couture. So I think that it is a fantastic platform to develop visibility for young talents, as well as a way to protect creativity and savoir-faire for the big brands.
But what is the business actually looking like at the moment? Is the market growing or is it shrinking at this stage? I mean, how many people are actually interested in buying an haute couture garment these days?
It depends what you call haute couture. Haute couture is a name that is protected, that is been defined by a law in 1945. So it's very, very specific. The ready-to-wear really started in the 60s. Before, everything was haute couture. All the production, I would say, of the Balmain, the Guy Laroche were haute couture. From the 70s on, you had the haute couture, which was hand-sewn, and you had the ready-to-wear. So the big brands, for the big brands, like the Chanel, the Givenchy, and the Dior, who have kept the haute couture, it's just a part of their activity. Before it was the whole activity. Now it's just a part of their activity. So yes, in that way, because the brand is become so big with other product categories, it's a small part. But it's like the heart in terms of creativity and savoir-faire.
All right, we're going to continue this discussion in just a moment. But first, I want to play a report about one up-and-coming designer who actually believes a lot in haute couture. Leona Liu, she's met him.
Frantic last-minute preparations in the workshop of Maxime Simoins as Paris Fashion Week Spring-Summer 2012 approaches. At only 27, Simoins has succeeded in breaking into the ultra-exclusive and wildly expensive world of haute couture, where dress, handmade to client specifications, starts at around 20,000 euros. Yet with only 3,000 couture clients left today, why would a young designer want to partake in such a risky venture?
Haute couture for a young designer is actually easier in the sense that we don't have to worry about the aspects of production. It's a showcase and a laboratory that allows us to go beyond ready to wear.
A graduate of the prestigious Chambre syndicale de la couture in Paris and a former apprentice at Jean-Paul Gaultier, Balenciaga and Dior, Simoins launched his own label in 2009. He originally studied film, and so naturally he loves dressing actresses. Melanie Laurent, Blake Lively, and Leighton Meester are among his celebrity fans. Contrary to what some industry commentators predict, Simoins doesn't believe that haute couture is in danger of extinction.
Maybe fashion nowadays isn't like it was 5 years ago. When we watch the catwalk shows of Chanel or Dior or Givenchy, it's no longer about made-to-measure couture, which is to say, the excessive volumes of Galliano. The idea is to bring out this artisanal quality, but not to forget that behind it all, there's the body of a woman.
As economic gloom dims the glitter of French haute couture houses, Simoins has been wise enough to adapt in order to stay relevant in a era dominated by fast fashion. The logo of the Maxime Simoins couture brand is a barcode, a playful assertion that a young designer can be commercial, even while pursuing his artistic flights of fancy.
All right, we're back in the studio, and I want to bring up something that you touched upon a little bit before, the difference these days between haute couture and ready-to-wear. What is the difference? I mean, we're seeing some items from the ready-to-wear lines that are very, very expensive indeed. They seem to be coming close to haute couture.
There is a big difference, is that haute couture is a B2C business model. So it's a business to consumer, it's direct. So it is the consumer who places the order, and so the garment is made for her and goes directly to the consumer. The ready-to-wear is a B2B business model. So it means that it goes to a store or to a department store who sells to another customer. So it's a major difference. Then, when it's a B2C business model, you can place a lot of research, a lot of craftsmanship, a very unique craftsmanship that you cannot put in ready-to-wear because it's produced in an industrial way. However, that's true that the ready-to-wear has developed its creativity in an amazing way now that we see pieces for ready-to-wear that are in a very limited edition.
Now, as you said before, for fashion houses like Dior and Chanel, haute couture is a very small part of their business. What do you think then that haute couture is at this stage? Is it a marketing tool or is it actual proper fashion? Is it a real business model?
I think it's both. It's both in the way that for some brands, for Chanel, for Dior, for Givenchy, for the big historic brands that have kept it, there is a clientele, there is a customer. And if we are talking about the fast-growing market, there is a strong interest. And I know that recently in Singapore, there was a presentation of haute couture and there was a lot of response, I mean, from the customers. So there is a part of the business model. Now, if we compare to the globality of these brands, it is small. If we compare to the perfume and to the accessories, it's a small entity. But it is important as such, and it is important as such also in terms of visibility. There is a lot of visibility to the coverage and to the impact of this wonderful workmanship.
All right, I want to talk about you and your business just for a moment. When you started your business back in 1990 and you started to recruit executives for fashion brands and luxury goods firms, did you believe then that 20-odd years later, you'd be called one of the most powerful women in fashion?
Never, because otherwise you never succeed. I think that it is just to do your best every single day. And what has been very fascinating is to try to innovate, because my clients innovate. They never take things for granted. They always are the most demanding people for the people who are working for themselves, but for themselves. They always innovate. So in our role, it was just to try also to innovate in terms of bringing them ideas of how creativity from Europe could help brand in the US to become more global, how their merchandising skills can help us, how Italians could help us understand also better the product and how to produce, and also to understand today how the fast-growing markets are also impacting our luxury brands.
Now, luxury, it was a very strong market in 2011. What do you think that the outlook is like for 2012? Is the market for luxury goods and fashion brands, is it going to be as resilient in 2012 as last year?
What I think is very interesting to notice is that we're moving from products to brands, and big fashion brands such as, of course, the couture brands like the Chanel and the Dior, but also like the Burberry, are moving into global brands, really global brands with a very strong community vision. So I think that the ones that have a very clear vision and a very clear message have gone through the past crisis in a very, very safe way and have re-emerged from the crisis at a very strong pace. So I feel confident that those brands that are very aligned and consistent in their vision will do well.
What does that mean for your business then? I suppose that means good news for you as well.
That means good news. That means that we are super busy. What it means as well is that it's not about replacing someone. It's not at all about that. It's about assisting and helping an organization to grow at a 20%, 25%, 30% in some cases. So when you consider how fast the growth is, how strong the growth is, and then you must think about the organization, not now, but how it should look like in 3 years to be ready.
You sound very upbeat. Isn't there a nagging feeling, though, somewhere in the back of businessmen and women within your sector that the Eurozone crisis, for instance, if it bites properly, that even luxury could be hit by that?
Yes, of course. I think that we are in a very paradoxical time where in the same time we're facing a very strong growth, and in the same time we say, oh, maybe tomorrow it will stop. So I think that I am watching that today the brands are really moving quickly, but in the same time are also cautious. What I think is very interesting as well is that for the first time, nearly, and probably it will be this year, the figure of 50% in fast-growing countries, and I'm talking about namely Asia-Pacific. So today, if we are considering Asia-Pacific, China and Japan included, and Asia-Pacific, it is 46%, for example, if we take the total of LVMH and PPR for the fashion part.
That's
so
how much
huge.
of their business is in the Asia-Pacific region?
Yes. So probably it will be 50% within the end of the year. This is historical, and this is very new for us. So if there is, a shaky, a little storm in this region of the world, this could have a lot of impact.
All right, some shifts taking place there in the world of luxury goods. Thanks very much indeed, Floriane de Saint-Pierre, for speaking to us today. And with that, we're going to wrap up the programme. Thanks for watching France 24.